back to your Wednesday Loose One Live. Keeping you company this lunchtime, it's Kelly Brook, Janet Street Porter, Denise Welsh and me, Kay Adams. Still to come, we are revealing the weird and wonderful trinkets that we've kept, not necessarily because we like them, but because they've been passed down to us. And to quote Janet, hers is revolting. But is being sentimental just a waste of time and space? Now, Oscar-winning actor Dame Emma Thompson has said that sex should be available on the NHS. Speaking at a screening of her film Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, in which her character, who's a widow, hires a young sex worker so she can experience a sexual awakening. Emma said, "You need sex because it's part of our health plan. It really should be on the NHS. It's so good for you." So what do you think, Denise? Would you like a prescription? Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, I mean...
A bit more enthusiasm, please.
I think
Lincoln's watching.
I think sex is good for you if you like it. Like me and Kelly.
I noticed you bypassed me.
No, because we were talking about it. Well, you clearly do. You've been married 87 times.
We're the nymphomaniacs on the panel, are we?
But I think, yeah, it depends. I think physically sex is meant to be good for you. Orgasm is meant to be good for you. But in my experience, just having sex doesn't always guarantee that. But it does now, Lincoln, obviously. No, I always had a very... I used to call it a man's attitude to sex. I think that was because, you know, men got a pass for certain behaviours. And I've always been able to separate sex from love, even though now in a loving relationship it's very important.
But would you
Some people get very hung up about it.
promiscuous?
I think that's just... What does that mean anymore?
Quite a judgmental word.
You know, it is quite judgmental. And I just think that, you know, if you're not hurting anybody, you should have as much sex as you want or don't want. I've got some friends now who are not as old as me, who, you know, of their marriages ended or their relationships ended, and they have got zero desire to even, you know, to even go down that road again. To me, it's very important, as is, you know, intimacy as well.
I think it is an important point you make. I mean, I get what she's saying, and of course they say it's good for your health, etc. Laughing about what am I going to say. But I don't think it's that helpful for Emma to say this, because like you say, if you want to, great, fill your boots. If you don't, equally, that is a choice too.
And it can also be bad for you though, can't it? If you get addicted to sex with a certain person and it's like, maybe a toxic relationship. I've been in situations where the relationship is just a disaster, but the sex is amazing, and you stay there because of that part of it, and not because you're connected on any other level. Like, everything about it is wrong, but because the sex is good.
That's a really good point.
That can be really detrimental, I think, to your life.
Yeah, so maybe the focus on sex is just too slim. It should be a kind of broader, sort of healthy connection thing. Janet, as our
my generation were the people that benefited from the pill, and you know, we were accused of being sexually promiscuous, and I definitely, you know, took full advantage of being on the pill, and I've enjoyed my life without going into too much gory detail. But it's, you know, I've written about it, and it's pretty obvious. I've had a lot of fun in my time, but I think now we're too hung up on how much sex, who you're doing it with, how you're doing it, and what your gender is and everything else. And instead of that, we should be focused more on intimacy and connection, because, you know, that is the most important thing in any relationship. Is feeling comfortable with the person you are with and having a connection.
Yeah.
And as Kelly's made a very, very good point, sometimes you can be with a person having sex and it's absolutely the wrong thing to be doing. And the other joke about having sex on the NHS, you'd be on a waiting list. It won't be a spontaneous thing, love. You'll be waiting for that phone call or that letter that arrives after the appointment.
Don't reschedule it, Janet. You shave all your legs, you get all ready, and they'll be like, sorry, we've cancelled that. We've got to reschedule for next week. You'll be all there waiting for nothing.
Can you imagine the options as well? Press 1.
Yeah, but I agree. I think that point that you make is such a good one. You know, that you can have sex in a relationship that is not a good relationship, and it should be about good relationships rather than sex on the NHS. It's a great headline, but actually, it's just too simplistic.
I think people have got
Emma
so
Thompson
much...
knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's so much pressure on people now. I mean, you can't read a newspaper or go online without reading how to have better sex at middle age, how to have better sex at 70. I just feel like, give it a break.
Yeah.
You know,
I've had enough.
I've had enough. Well,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't think you ever have enough. Or, well, I don't want to say any more. But I think everybody's different. I'd really like to read you know, we were talking about gardening yesterday. Wouldn't it be thrilling if the articles were all about how to grow better carrots or something?
Well, that's an interesting link. No, he's used to being in the spotlight, but it is Jeremy Clarkson's mum, Shirley Clarkson, who's been in the headlines recently. She designed the first ever Paddington Bear soft toy in the UK. And she gave Jeremy and his sister a handmade prototype of the teddy when they were kids. Paddington author Michael Bond then gave her the licence to make them after they became friends. Now, we don't know if Jeremy has still got his little toy. We don't know if he gets tucked up with Paddington every night. We hope he does, of course. Very sentimental, but you're not sentimental at all, are you?
I'm not sentimental, but I think for years and years and years, I just did not get rid of anything. Not because I wasn't sentimental, it was just because I just didn't have time. And I think when I met Jeremy, I felt like when we moved in together, he was like living amongst ghosts of my past. And I said, look, we just got to clear everything out, because that rug I bought with that boyfriend when I went to Morocco, and that photo album is... and I said, we just got to get rid of everything.
And you had a heck of a past.
I did have a heck of a past. It was, yeah, a few decades of having a good time. And we just cleared everything out. I got skips in, and we had this filled, and I would just give Jeremy, like, black sacks full of pictures and birthday cards and all sorts of things, and he would go up there and burn it.
So he's burning pictures of your old boyfriends?
So basically, he took a whole bunch of albums up there, and he's there burning. And as he came down, I said, how'd you get on? Was everything fine? He goes, oh, no, it was great, it's all gone. He said, but there was just this one picture of Billy Zane. And he was just staring at me, glaring at me, and it wouldn't burn. And no matter what I threw on it, it just wouldn't burn. And it was just Billy Zane looking at him going, I'm not leaving, mate.
Burn, Billy, burn.
Billy, burn. Yeah, so I'm not really sentimental.
No, it's funny, I'm looking at some of the comments coming in. Joyce is saying she's got every birthday card that her husband has ever given her. Ever.
Wow.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I'm not very sentimental, although when you go down and the kids are there, the kids are grown up, and you get the old, something that our kids with phones on photos won't ever have, when you get the old box of photos out and it's like, I suppose I am to that degree, but as regards keeping the kids' first tooth and the first boot and everything, I'm not. I wish I had kept a bit more like the school reports and stuff, but I'm so terrible that we have this sort of like the little room that you go down, we put loads of, stuff in there, but we had a flood once and I was quite relieved. I was, because I would never have chucked some of the stuff out. We saved the photos and everything, but there was part of me, because it was just clutter. So I've got one hat that I found just the other day, and it's when I left. I went to convent school for 2 years. Funnily enough, I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't quite for me. But when I left, there were a lovely bunch of girls, and they all signed the hat. And when I picked it up, I could still smell the, I could still smell the school. And it reminded me of childhood. That was, God, lost to Jess, and Jess not there anymore. Nice. But I think I'm a bit more like you, because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Whereas you...
Yeah, me, I've got my childhood diaries going back to the age of 10. I've got all my autograph books when I had as a child. I've got the membership cards to all the clubs, rhythm and blues and jazz clubs I used to go to.
Wow.
I've got all my mum's photo albums, my photo albums. Yeah, I've got the whole lot. It really is a part of my personality I can't quite explain. I like order. It's all been put in order as well. But apart from all the stuff that's to do with me in the diaries, what I haven't got an awful lot to do with my mum or my Welsh granny. But when I was asked about this subject, I remember there's one completely hideous thing that I can't explain to you, that my granny had this horrible, we used to go to a little cottage in North Wales for all the school holidays. And I was dumped there in the summer while my mum went back to London to work. So on her mantelpiece was this horrible china cat that I think she got at a fair. Look at it! Is that not the ugliest thing you have ever...
Oh, that's like a dog!
It's a cat with toothache. Oh. And it's got a bandage on its leg and a little Welsh ruffle round its neck and a horrible bow. And a piece of ceramic is disgusting. So when my granny died, my mother had to have it, and she had it in her front room. And then when my mum died, astonishingly, I took it, and I've got it. I don't know what that thing has a hold over me.
But the thing is, Janet, your collection of... because I said to you when we were chatting earlier, you know, as someone who chose not to have children, who was going to benefit from these, who were you going to leave them to? But
you don't know if benefit's the right word with that thing.
Well, that's true. But, you know, all those wonderful archive photographs and everything, but they're going somewhere very special, aren't they?
I probably will leave all the stuff to do with my work. I'm not sure about all the sentimental, personal stuff, but the diaries and probably all my work stuff will go to a university, because now universities are doing media studies, and people have come to realise that decade when I started in the media in '67 is 67 to 76. So much happened. Commercial radio started, more television stations started, and I've got I've got all that stuff from working in the
I mean, that will be an incredible resource. I hope you didn't write about your sex life, though. After the break, with wedding season in full swing and billionaire Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's upcoming nuptials dominating the headlines, we're talking marriage. Find out which one of us was best woman at Elton John's wedding. See you soon.